Hey there, we're the Adventurleighs. I'm Cheryl.
I'm Theron.
All right, welcome to our channel. So basically, today we are going to share our camper with you. We're going to show you where we started with the camper and what our next project is for the camper. Darren will go over that a little bit, but I just kind of want to introduce you. This is our camper. So this is, where we do all of our camping and where we live in the summer. We're very excited about it. It's something that we've always kind of wanted to do.
So I bought this about a year ago. It's been something I've been wanting to do for several years, and I finally pulled the trigger. And I found this one used. It's a 10 by 6 by 6. It's an old Hallmark, and I paid about $3,000 for it, so it's very budget friendly. The main reason I'm doing it this way instead of buying a small camper is that there's nothing on the market that appeals to me. They charge a lot, and then they put a lot of stuff in them that you don't need. And the things I don't need or want mostly are plumbing. I don't want to deal with any plumbing. And electrical, I'm going to put some electrical in, but it's going to be very minimal. And I'll talk about that a little bit later in this video about what my plans are for that. But basically what I wanted was a tent on wheels. I wanted something I could be able to pull to a campsite, sleep in without having to pitch a tent anymore, because we've been tenting it for years, and that's fine. We enjoy camping and being outdoors. That's why we do it. But it's not something I intend to like live in or spend a lot of time in while we're at the campsite. It's going to function basically as a tent and then as a place to store all of our gear. What I used to have to do was pack everything into the back of the Suburban, and that was a multi-hour project. I had it down to a science. I knew how to fit everything in, but you're talking tents, mattresses, all the gear, everything, coolers. Suburban was full, right? And I got tired of doing that. So now it's all in here. We can literally go to the campsite, drop it. If we want to go camping, we just basically fill up a cooler and we're on our way. So that's been really, really nice.
Yes,
That's been great.
agreed.
And actually we get to the campsite, we hook the trailer, and it feels like we are forgetting
We're
something.
looking and going, wait a minute, are we
Because,
forgetting to
yeah,
do something
because we're
here?
not pitching tents or anything. It's so funny the first couple times. But anyway, so that's the function of this. This is not meant to be something that we're going to like live in or
No.
like go open roading with or anything like that. This is simply a camper. We like to do all of our stuff outside. So we have all of our kitchen and everything set up on picnic tables and stuff like that.
Correct.
And then this is basically a place to sleep and store things. So I want to talk about electrical for this camper a little bit, what we've been doing and where I want to take it. So we've been tent camping for years and years and years with absolutely no power, just off grid. You're dependent on a campsite at that point, right? You do need toilets and a place to build a fire and a picnic table and all that. So you're dependent on campsites. I'd ultimately like to get this trailer to the point where we're not dependent on campsites. It doesn't mean we're going to be living in it, but I'd like to be able to go boondocking here and there for a night or two. So I've been thinking about this for a long time, and whether to build onboard power in the trailer or to just have the trailer so you could plug it into some power source. And what I settled on was that I'm going to set the trailer up on a 15 amp service so that I can just plug it into a power source, and I'm not going to have any onboard batteries or anything like that. So I'll be able to plug it into a house outlet, or I'll be able to plug it into a generator, which I own. I have a little Honda generator in the garage that we do take camping. We store it in the Suburban, and it's nice to have that for if Cheryl needs to run a blow dryer or something like that. We don't run it constantly, but for little things like that, we have it with us. The other electrical that I've been bringing camping with us, which is really handy, is from Menards. It's the Master Force line from Menards. Now, these are just batteries I use for weed eaters, drills, and all kinds of stuff around the garage and shop. But Master Force also makes this little inverter that you can stick right on there. Now, this is not going to run a heavy duty appliance like a blow dryer or an oven or anything like that. But what this is good for is for charging cell phones, or if you need to blow up an air mattress, which we used to use it for that, you can run the pump for the air mattress. And just light duty stuff. It'll run a radio. If you want to plug a radio in, one of these batteries will run a radio for like 2 days. So this is really budget friendly, portable power for just simple camping. And so we've been using these for a couple of years, and this is a really neat thing that we picked up. So these are available at Menards. It's their Master Force line. And we have a charger and everything for that. And like I said, these are the same batteries I run my weed eater with, these things and other shop tools. So that's what we've been doing. and we'll probably still continue to bring that stuff along with us. But what I want to put in the trailer for the 15 amp service is going to be, obviously, you've got your shore power hookup. So this is where you would plug in to a wall socket or a generator or something like that. This will stick through the outside wall of the trailer. And then you need some kind of a breaker or fuse. So I found a 15 amp breaker. This is a resettable breaker. You're going to want that so you can stay safe. If you overload the system, this will trigger and shut everything down. And then we're going to put in 3 outlets. And Cheryl and I need to go in the camper and decide where we want these so that we can run charge cell phones, run small appliances. Part of getting boondocking and stuff like that is you're not going to have access to a fire pit most likely. So we want to be able to cook with like maybe a little pressure steamer cooker or a little air fryer or something like that. So we need to be able to run that stuff. We will have the Honda generator with us for that. The ultimate goal is to upgrade to a portable power battery power pack, and I'm doing some shopping and research on what brand I would want to get into, and that is something we can carry with us then as well, and that will also run any appliances and things that we want to run. But for today, I just want to get outlets and the service put in, so I've got the wire, the bus bars, and everything for that. And I'm not gonna film the entire install, but we'll definitely share it with you when it's in and we have it all figured out. So I think before we get started with the rest of this video, the next thing we need to do is unclutter this thing. It's been storing things all winter long, and if you go in there right now, you'll see it's full of coolers and gear and stuff. So we just need to, I think, get it cleaned out, and then we'll move on with the camper tour after that.
Yep, I agree.
So look at all of our junk. Now, all of this came out of the trailer, and there's actually more that wasn't in here that's still in the garage. But this is all used to be in the garage. We should be tripping over this all the time, so it's nice to have it in the trailer. But we are going to go through it, organize, decide what we need to keep, what we don't need to keep. But before we do that, we'll show you the inside of the trailer.
All right, come on in. All right, so this is we have this for bugs. You know, basically one of those screens for bugs, which it does work really nice because sometimes if it's a warm night or whatever, we can have this open, or we just leave it open during the day. The door right here. So then we just have this. So all right. So then Darren actually built shelves in here. So there's shelves for everything that we have. Those bins that you saw outside, they just sit in here. And then we have them by bungees. And that when we're traveling, we have bungees that hook into here. So they're not moving around and keeps everything nice. And then we have all the storage underneath here. This is where all my pots and pans go. And then down here is basically like our dresser. So what I do is I pull these bins out when we're getting ready to go camping, and I put all of our stuff in here. And then it's nice that when we're done camping, we can just pull the bins out, and I can do the laundry for that.
That's a nice function that you can just take all that right into the house, right?
Yeah.
You just carry the
I just take
right
it all, carry it right into the house, and I'm able to wash it. And then of course we just have this has all of our tools and that. We actually found this. Darren found this at his work. They were getting rid of this at his work.
Yeah, that's a temporary thing. That's
Yeah.
not a permanent thing, but it works for now.
Yeah. So that's that. And then he put these little hooks here for our like coats, and we keep our ponchos right here by the window, or by the window, by the door. So we can just grab our ponchos and that. So and then yeah, everything just sits here. Now you come over here.
I'll talk about this bed. This is the bed I built. This was the first thing that went in. So we actually camped for 8 or 9 nights with just this bed and nothing else built in here, and it worked just fine. But this is designed to come out. There's no tools required, so everything just lifts up. And I built this on Easy Track. You could get this at Harbor Freight or any place. I bought all mine at Harbor Freight, and it's just 2x4s, and the whole thing comes apart. There's no tools required, so this entire bed comes out if I need it to, and I don't have to use any tools. So it's this Easy Track, and then it's these sockets that they sell. Cut the 2x4s to fit. Lay the whole bed right over it, and then all your cushions, mattresses, and everything just lay right on top of that. So it's really slick.
Yeah, it works really nice. And we have the cushion video. If you have not seen that video, you're definitely welcome to check it out. It's on our channel. This cushions that we built by ourselves because we wanted it to be versatile. So the cushions pull out with these as well. So it works really nice. And honestly, we sleep really comfortable.
Yeah, so at this point, it's just a bed, some storage space, tons and tons of storage space under the bed. And I put in some windows. Oh, and some lighting. We'll bring those out. But what we do is we put the pop lights in here. They just run on AAA batteries. So we didn't have to put any wiring or anything in the trailer. They give off a lot of light, and those AAAs last a long, long time. I'm actually pretty happy with that. We'll probably just leave it at that. It's a
Yeah.
$25 solution to. It's super simple.
It's
25
super
bucks.
simple, and then if I have to give it, I usually have to give the middle of the night. I can just sit up in the bed. I just pop one of those, walk down, and I'm able to get up if I need to.
That is extremely simple camper lighting.
Yes.
On the cheap.
Yes.
None of us are professional carpenters here.
None of it, yeah.
So everything I've done is pretty minimal skills, minimal tools, and I just kind of do it on the fly. When I think of something, I do it. The object is to just keep this as simple and budget as we can, and we'll build onto it as time and money allows.
Right. And like you had said earlier, you wanted something to where you could put in what you wanted to put in. So this has worked out really nice because we're able to put in everything that we wanted to. It has everything that we could possibly need and nothing that we don't need. It's just very simple, very better, but we can fit all of our stuff in here and it works really, really well. We've stayed a lot of nights. We stayed 8 nights last year and there was no issues. We did really well with it.
So that's where it's at right now.
Hey there, it's Cheryl. So while he's working on stuff in the camper, I thought this would be a good time for me to start organizing our camping stuff. Um, as we had mentioned before, we basically lived out of totes, which meant, we still do this. Everything is kind of like put in, Ziploc baggies to keep it all kind of secure and together, so you don't have a lot of, moving around and things jostling from here to there. So I still kind of do that. I mean, just random little things that we have just keeps it a lot more easier and it works really well. So basically, these are just few things that we kind of keep every year. We've actually gone and bought separate items for the camper. That way, from like liver dishes, I've gone to Goodwill, bought like extra silverware, all that kind of thing. So it just stays in the camper. So I'm not having to go through my stuff and taking everything out. Um, so basically, I buy these bins. The bins work really well. I can take them in and out. We've had them actually stored in the back in a shelf for winter. So you have your flashlights, which are a must. This is just kind of all the kitchen stuff, I guess, so to speak. Basically, let's see, and then I have my coffee. I put my coffee in like a little thing like this. So then that's all together like that. This is hot cocoa, so we have that. Just some straws for drinks. Just little things. I just find that if you put them in a tote, just a little bin like this, it makes it a lot easier. A lot of times I just pull this right out. Of course, seasoning salt, for cooking, any of the kind of like condiments, all that kind of stuff you need for cooking. can't ever have too many flashlights. We have like a ton of them, and I honestly don't think that you can have too many of those. Um, we had a dog dish that was given to us from our daughter, for our dog, which we don't have a dog now. So I might still throw it in the camper. You never know when you have a pet join you. You know, if you have a friend with a pet, these are like an essential just to light everything. I mean, you can't have too many of these. These are absolutely wonderful. I have a, a thing with drinkware, so have my drinkware. Um, and then of course, koozies. I have a bunch of these too. These are really nice for camping. So we have all of that kind of stuff. So that's basically that tote there. I did want to show you. You should have a first aid tote. So we actually have one. We have a first aid bin. And that's just sits in the camper. We'll show you when we kind of go through where everything goes in the camper. But basically, this has all of our. I have to figure out how to open this thing up. It has. Hold on. Okay, so this is our first aid bin. I'm just going to move this one over here out of the way so you can see what we're doing. Oh, and we also do have a radio that we take with us. It has Bluetooth capability. Sometimes if it's a remote area where there's not a lot of Wi-Fi, or not Wi-Fi, but just you can't get a lot of really good signal, it has a CD player on it too, and we can pull in stations. We've even done the old put some tinfoil on the thing to get a station in. So we are big real music people, so we do have a lot of that. So yeah, this right here is our first aid bin. It's got all of our first aid stuff in it. It's got you got your gloves and antiseptics and all of that kind of stuff. So you probably want to have that something like that in your camping gear, because I think it's always really important to have a first aid kit. So we do have one of those. All right, so this then just has another one of these clickers, and I keep hand soap, dish soap. And then also I write a list down of things that I needed. I've got plenty of bug spray. Again, 2 more flashlights. Truly, I guess can't have enough of those. This other bin. And then thing for my coffee maker, which I'll probably put that in my coffee maker. So yeah, I'm just going through here basically, and so I'll have to add. Oh, and then pot holders, have those. Um, and then this bin here has like all of our cards. Sudoku. We do Sudoku at night. Cribbage board, which we actually did get a new cribbage board, so I'm gonna put that in here.
Okay, so I've got the electrical put in the way I want it. I decided to put all the outlets on the shelving, so I've got one up top here, so we can plug in like a crock pot or a air fryer or something like that if we want to do some cooking on this countertop. This one down here is going to be for the refrigerator when we eventually get that. It'd be something we can plug a refrigerator or another appliance into. And then I imagine then that it'll store underneath here where these brown cupboards are going to disappear. And then on this end by the bed is where we put the third one. And this will be for cell phones and stuff like that. And then everything comes in on the end of the cabinet over here. Pardon me while I jump around here. So everything comes in down here underneath the bed. This is all going to be under the bed. So this is the 15 amp input. I ran it to the breaker over here. This trips, if it overloads, it'll trip the breaker, and then it's a manual reset. So I put it over here so it'd be easy to reach from the outside there. And then everything else I tucked into the corner. So I've got these self-enclosed receptacles, which you can't daisy chain together. So each one's got its own separate lead here. And then I just tied them all together with bus bars, and then I've got a ground bus there. Obviously, I won't leave all this exposed. I'm going to cover this all up, but that's basically it. And if at any point I want to put onboard power in this trailer, like a battery pack or something, I imagine that it will just go right here on the floor underneath the bed. and that shouldn't be too hard of an overhaul if I want to do that at some point. We're all done constructing for the day. I think I've got everything I want to do for now. So along with the electrical, which I already talked about, I also did not like the fact that before this was wide open from the back of the trailer all the way to the front. So I put in this divider wall here so we have more of a dedicated garage space in the back. Again, this is completely removable with no tools. It just simply slides out of these brackets that it's being held in by. I've just got slider brackets on each side. And then I put an additional one in front of it right there on the floor, just in case if I have to hit the brakes really hard, stuff doesn't push through that board. So that was the last little thing I wanted to do. So now I think it's all cleaned out and we are ready to put it together.
Hey there, it's Adventurleighs. Welcome back. We are here and we have finished our camper. So we're very excited about the updates that we have made. So I'm going to give you a tour because we got to show you how cool this is. All right, so I have a little stool right here I step up on.
I want to get something better for you, but this is okay for now.
Yeah, because I'm short, so I just step up in here. And like I said, this is really cool because we're able to, we can have it open, and that we can just go in and out. We need to tighten that. And here we are. We're in. Welcome.
All right.
All right. So this is our camper. Basically, these are our bins. Here that I keep all of my plates and cups, coffee cups, any of that mixing bowls. I have all the mixing bowls for cooking. And then over here we have our games. We have a game bin. Then we have our cribbage and our Sudoku that we do. I got my dish rags here, and then I got my coffee filters, and any extra little doodads that we need. And then all of this is like our um, Ziploc baggies, napkins.
So what I like about these bins when we found them is, number one, they're stackable and they all lock together. You see those little white handles on the sides? That locks them all together. And then when we're at camp, we just undo the bungee cords that are wrapped around them there, and we can take that entire stack right out to the picnic table and have it at the campsite.
And then the bungees keep it in place. We have moved several times with this, and these have not moved.
And I've never had anything fall out of them.
Yeah, we've never had anything fall out of them. They work really, really well.
So they're a nice design.
So, and then also we just have extra little things up here, stuff. And then down here, this works perfect for our Coleman cook stove. I have my bins for my dishes. Because again, my kitchen is outside. I don't have a kitchen inside, and that's really fine with me. But I still have it as a backup. If for some reason, we do like a boondocking type situation, we'll still need all of this stuff. And so I have all this. I have my pots and pans down here. And then, like I had mentioned before, these are the bins that I just take in, and I can put my clothes in them, bring them back out, or I just take them all right out and put them downstairs, and I wash them. So
yeah, so right now our setup is mostly dependent upon us having a campsite with a bathroom facility and some water that we can tap into. Not necessarily a water hookup, but at least someplace where we can get water. So we're trying to. Our goal is to eventually get away from that. So we'll continue to improve upon this situation as we go, so that we can get off grid and go boondocking. And I think the next biggest step is going to be a toilet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then down here I have my Home Depot bucket. If
Right.
you all know what you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So that is basically Cheryl's the only one that uses that, and that's for emergency nighttime peeing,
yeah,
so that she doesn't have to walk to the
right.
outhouses. I never use it, and we never go number 2 in there. Yep.
Okay, so then I have a step right here, and then I go up in here, and these are our new
Oh yeah,
cushions.
you'll probably recognize these. These are the
Yeah,
cushions that we built, the no-sew cushion video that we did about a month or so ago. So we haven't made the bed completely yet, but this is definitely the base for it. Yeah.
and then of course, like we have the lights that we had talked about. They just simply
Yep.
push, and we did do the updates with the electrical, so you'll see that come through. So if you want, you can come in here and you can kind of show them what you did.
Yeah, so the outlets just sit, one sits in front of the bins, one sits over there, so we can hook an appliance up over here if we want to use this for counter space indoors. And then I've got an extra one down there that we'll eventually be plugging refrigeration into.
Yes, our plan is to eventually, this stuff will be moved from here. And then when we do get our refrigerator, we are getting one of those chest-like refrigerators. It basically looks like a cooler, but it's an actual refrigerator. So that will just sit down in there.
Yeah, it's a camp fridge or camp cooler.
Yeah,
I've got
camp
a couple
cooler.
brands I'm looking at. I haven't
Yeah,
narrowed it down quite yet, but that's
yeah,
next
definitely.
on the
Yep,
list.
yep.
So what we do now is we have some nice chest freeze coolers. I've got them sitting in the garage over there, a couple nice ones, and we just ice those down and take them with us. And when we're traveling, they just sit on the floor area right here in front of everything else. So
Yeah, and then basically then this is all set. And then when we get ready to go, we just put our coolers with our items, with our dry goods and our other food, and we are set to go on our way. Oh, and also we added a mirror.
oh
I
yeah,
added a
Cheryl
mirror.
wanted a mirror, so we got a mirror hanging up there.
We
Yeah.
added a mirror.
And then if you
So
come around back,
yeah.
the rest of it's in the garage back here. I've got lots and lots and lots of room back there for all the rest of the totes. We carry a tent, a nice 4-man tent, and a queen size air bed under there. That way company can come visit us. Usually it's our kids and some of their friends. If they want to come camp with us, then they have a place that they can stay. We keep a nice 12-foot canopy under here, and then just some extra water toys. The Tidy Cat things, that's our water storage. Those are old litter box or litter containers that we saved. I have a pair of those. We fill those with water, and then we don't drink out of those. That's for dishes and gray water type things. Yeah, and then we carry bottled water when we want to have drinking water. So yeah, and
And
then
you put a board.
yes,
Yeah.
this is my safety board in the back. So if we have the doors open, stuff doesn't fall out the back when we're sleeping. I've lost a couple of pillows one night, so I put that board up
Or
there.
you. I mean,
I haven't rolled out of it. I came
yeah,
close.
you know.
I came close a couple times.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so ultimately this we're really excited about the new update, so you'll get to see in a future video we actually plug her in and go electric. But we're very excited about the updates we had, and now this is our home. This is our home away from home.
Yeah. So as far as the electrical goes, yeah, right now it doesn't have any onboard power. I can plug it into 15 amp service, or I can plug it into my Honda generator, which I carry in the Suburban with me when we go. So if Cheryl wants to run a hair dryer or something like that, she can do that inside the trailer now. And then long term, the plan is to get a nice power pack with solar panels that I can recharge it with, and I'll still have the generator for backup if I need it. So that's the long term plan for this, and that'll probably happen later this summer. I think that's about all I got.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thanks for watching our video.
Yeah,
Hope
definitely.
you enjoyed us getting our camper ready for the season. And like and subscribe and follow us on all the things Cheryl will post up after this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're really loving what we have, definitely subscribe to our channel, so we can keep doing this.
Yep. Can't wait to take you camping with us.
Yeah.
Bye,
All right.
guys.
Yeah, bye. Family's just playing RC cars.
Wait, where's he at? Oh, there he is.
These are crawlers, rock crawlers. How you doing, Darren?
I'm stuck.
I see that.
I'm officially stuck.
So we're taking a break from working on our camper. We're gonna play some RC cars with the kids. Hey, you just ran over our daughter.